Now, from CBS 4 News, this is Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede.
Good morning. I'm Jim DeFede, and welcome to Facing South Florida. We are headed into the final week of the legislative session in Tallahassee, and while most of the attention has been on some of the more controversial items, like HB 1, the anti-riot bill the governor pushed, there have been other measures that have been flying under the radar. This morning, we are going to look at those issues. What are legislators doing about lowering homeowners insurance, car insurance? Why aren't we using all of the money set aside for affordable housing on building affordable housing? Why did the legislature refuse yet again to take billions of dollars from the federal government to expand Medicaid and provide health insurance for 800,000 Floridians? I'll be joined this morning by Republican State Representative Daniel Perez and Democratic State Senator Jason Pizzo. We begin by talking about an issue I thought there would have been bipartisan support for: raising the state's unemployment rate from $275 a week to $375. Last year, elected officials seemed genuinely embarrassed that Florida had the worst unemployment system with the smallest benefit in the country. But that embarrassment has apparently faded. Representative Perez, are we going to see an increase in unemployment benefits?
Yeah, that conversation has been happening in the House, but the reality is that we have a responsibility in Tallahassee to pass a balanced budget. And obviously, with the dollars that have been coming from the federal government, we've had to make decisions on how that best suits our citizens and our residents in Florida. And the monies that we've received up to date, I can give you an example, Jim, and it's a separate topic we can talk about in a little bit, but we've made sure that those individuals that have had to receive some sort of healthcare coverage through Medicaid because of COVID, because of unemployment, we've made sure that they have that healthcare coverage, and that's what we've used our money for. So, I think while we all understand that unemployment is important and the benefits are low, I think we can agree that they are low. The monies that we've had, we've made sure that we put that to good use by giving the healthcare coverage to those that need it today that didn't need it a year or two ago. So obviously the population under Medicaid today is a lot higher than it was, and we've used the funds to make sure that they have that healthcare service.
There was another bill. There was another bill though that preceded our passing yesterday unanimously in the Senate, 40-0, 1906, raising the limit $100, and that's the sales tax bill. And that's based on the Wayfair decision of actually realizing and collecting sales tax from remote sales. And I actually voted yes on the bill. It was a Republican led bill, but 6 of us crossed the aisle and voted yes on the sales tax. And in debate on the floor, I very specifically said, listen, am I crazy about the idea that up to $1 billion a year is going to be going from the sales tax collection into the unemployment trust fund, really, paid by the consumer, but inuring to the benefit of companies?
The bill that you're now talking about, Senator Pizzo, is the collecting of sales tax on online purchases. So which is a new thing that the state had not been doing previously. As a result, it's going to generate, it's by estimates, about $1 billion a year. And that money is being given, as you're saying, to various corporations and to underwrite the unemployment system in a way so that companies don't then have to pay for the unemployment system that is currently at the breaking point. So I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to start using both of your first names if that's okay. So I'm going to come back to you, Danny. Again, I just want to come back to the question of, is it really fair to expect people to live on $275 a week for 12 or 14 weeks, regardless of the pandemic? But is that really a good system?
Well, the unemployment system is not perfect, but part of the unemployment system is exactly what Senator Pizzo was talking about, which has to do with the unemployment trust fund. That is the whole point of what we call here in Tallahassee the Wayfair bill, the online sales tax bill. The Wayfair bill is so that small businesses, I don't like using the word corporations. I think when we say corporations, we think Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Carnival Cruise Lines. We think big mega companies. Don't think of big mega companies. Think of also small mom and pop shops. I think on the floor of the House of Representatives, we had a trash company owner from Tampa who's a representative from there, Representative Sigley. And he was talking about what he has to pay into the unemployment trust fund if we were not to put the monies to the unemployment trust fund from the Wayfair bill, could potentially be 4 or 5 times per employee, or We're talking about potentially thousands of dollars that would come out of these small mom and pop business that could potentially close their doors. We have consistently said our goal is to protect small businesses.
So let's just put a button in this right now. The Senate passed a bill that would increase the unemployment benefit from $275 to $375 a week for someone who loses their job. What I'm hearing from you, Danny, is that that measure is dead in the House. That will not be heard in the House, and so there should be no expectation that the unemployment benefits for individuals will increase from the current rate of $275. Is that a fair statement?
I don't like saying it's dead because we still have time left. What I can tell you is that we have prioritized making sure that we put the unemployment trust fund back to sea level, no pun intended, and that we keep our small businesses open. We think by keeping our small businesses open will allow people to get back to work, which is how.
But as of right now, there are no plans to take up raising the unemployment benefit from $275 a week to $375 a week. There are no plans to take that up in the House right now.
That bill, which I believe, and Senator Pizzo can correct me, I think it was Senator Broder's bill in the Senate. Right now, that is not on special order in the House for us to take up.
Which means it's dead. Is that correct, Jason?
Jim, Representative Perez and I are both from Miami-Dade County. The majority of the west side of my district is single parent households. And at $275 a week, that's $1,100 a month without anything else. And you can't find a home or rent anything for less than $1,100 without utilities, without food. It's woefully low. They had the opportunity with an amendment that was filed on another House bill last week, and the majority voted it down.
You just raised an issue, so let me ask this. Some of this that I want to talk about deals with actual bills. Some of it deals with larger issues. So I'm going to toss it. I'll stay with you for a second, Jason. What, if anything, has the legislature done this year when it comes to affordable housing, making housing costs come down?
I don't get involved too much in narratives and rhetoric. Sometimes we have to push back because some of the statements made are just ridiculous. But we've raided the Sadowski Trust Fund that comes from dock stamp revenue. Last year we had.
Wait. So let me again. Let's avoid the Tallahassee talk. What is the Sadowski Trust Fund?
The Sadowski Trust Fund was established 29 years ago, I believe. And basically it says is we take a portion of dock stamp revenue when you file a mortgage note with the clerk's office, there's documentary stamps. It's basically like a realty transfer fee that people may be familiar with. And a portion of that goes into a fund, and that fund accrues, and then the aggregate funds are supposed to be distributed for the construction of affordable housing. Now, what happens every year is, well, it's just so ripe and it's big. So the legislature basically raids it and takes money out of it and uses it for other projects.
Let me bring Danny in. Danny, so what, if anything, are we doing with regard to the issue of affordable housing, which, as you know, in South Florida is such an important issue?
In the Florida House, this is actually, and it's a great topic because the narrative, it's so easy to say that, well, the Republicans in the House are raiding the Sadowski Trust Fund. You hear it every year. The problem
in the Senate too. In the Senate too.
Fair, but I'm not in the Senate, so I can only talk about the House. But in the House, that is just not accurate. And last year under Speaker Oliva, when we voted off the floor our budget, there was not a rating of the Sadowski Fund. Obviously, COVID hit, and the governor had to make his decisions. But to say that our chamber or the fiscally conservative portion of our chamber is raiding Sadowski, Jim, is just not accurate. I'll add this, and this is based on raw numbers. If you average the last 10 years of Sadowski, and what that number has come out of Tallahassee, out of both chambers, signed by the governor and put into people's communities in order for affordable housing to take place, the House today, and we're not done, by the way, because our budget is not done. It is only increasing as far as the allocations are concerned. Our budget today has more towards Sadowski than the average over the 10 years. So we are 100% investing in affordable housing. Without a doubt, we are investing in it.
Can you point to some examples of projects that are taking place in South Florida, to build affordable housing, with money coming from the state? I
mean, I can tell you in District 116, I have probably one of the more elderly populations in the county. I always say that I represent the abuelas and the abuelos of Miami-Dade County. That is my community. I'm Westchester, I'm Doral, I'm the Fontainebleau area, I'm Kendall. That is the area I represent from 87th Avenue to the Turnpike. And I know for a fact that there are, since I've been here, for example, Badia is one where we have some affordable housing there. But in addition to that, I would say around, I want to say between Sunset and Kendall, we have affordable housing for our elderly that is being built as we speak. I expect it should have been done already. And the reason it hasn't been is obviously COVID is in the way. But yes, there is affordable housing being built in my district through Sadowski.
Jason, do you agree that we're building affordable housing?
Sure, there's some bricks and sticks, Jim, but we have 9,000 K through 12 students in Miami-Dade County that are homeless. We have 1,200 Miami-Dade College full-time enrolled kids that are homeless. And so the idea of affordable in Miami is different than it is in Ocala. And even Anna Terry Flores from the Republican side had pushed also to raise what's considered workforce on a percentage basis. Just the cost of living in Miami-Dade is just markedly higher than it is anywhere else.
Let me move on. I know in talking to you, Danny, at the beginning of the session, one of your highest priorities was passing COVID liability protection. I know that that's passed. I believe the governor has signed it even. It's gone all the way through. Talk to me about what impact that will have, that you believe that will have on the business community down here and on people's lives. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, COVID liability in the House was House Bill 7. And what it did is it set a certain standard in order for a small business to be liable under a potential lawsuit because of COVID. What we've done is we've told small businesses, if you abide by the health department, state, local, or even federal health department, CDC guidelines, and you run your business the way you are supposed to, then an individual that steps into your business, a customer that steps into your business, would not be able to file a frivolous lawsuit if you are abiding by these regulations. And the whole point of it, Jim, is, we want to make sure that we keep the doors open of our small businesses so that they can continue to function. And you and I both know, I think we can all agree that frivolous lawsuits get in the way of small businesses daily, and our job is to protect them. I mean, look, I don't like the rhetoric that a certain party is only for businesses or a certain party is only for the less financially stable or more financially stable. The truth is that our goal is to make sure that businesses keep their doors open so people can work. If people can work, then their families are fed and they have a roof over their head. If we can do that, then we've done our job in Tallahassee. COVID liability does just that. It makes sure that small businesses keep their doors open and aren't hit by potentially frivolous lawsuits.
Jason?
I don't know. Danny and I got to hang out more. He's just drunk with the rhetoric, I guess, that some of the people in my party in the House talked about. But I said this last year. I'm not a socialist. I have the very good fortune of having a very hardworking family that has done very well, and I believe and agree with everything he just said. I've never couched or delineated between small business and large business, but the reality is anything that we pass benefits Disney as much as it does, Dale's Hardware, and that's the reality. Anything we have to do with taxes, anything we have to do with liability protection benefits large and small, everybody across the board, on an equal basis. So I don't disagree with anything he said. My concern, and it's SB 72 to the COVID liability counterpart in the Senate. My concern was the bar being so high across the board on access to the courts.
When we come back, we'll talk car insurance, homeowners insurance, and health care. Stay with us.